It's going down like this, motherfucker.
Nigga get mad. Say, motherfucker, what you mean you ain't gonna let me in this funky joint? Much money I done spent in here, nigga. I knew your mama when she was horn. Hump, baby. Shit, bet I do it over time. Say that, nigga. Shit. Bet the bar, off time. Shit, boy, I'm trying to make me some money. Boy, I'm hungry as a hog need. Slap Jesus. Shit, gotta be a Jesus, cause too many black folks.
Ask you something? I said, can I ask you something? Ain't I'm clean?
For what he has, he says that the only way that we can solve our problem is to unite. For what he has, he says that the only way that we can solve our problem is to unite. For what he has, he says that the only way that we can solve our problem is to unite together among ourselves, among our own kind, clean ourselves up, rid ourselves of the evils that we've become addicted to here in this society.
Yes, he destroy black boys. If you destroy him as a boy, he'll never become a man. Yes, he destroy black boys. If you destroy him as a boy, he'll never become a man. Yes, he destroy black boys. If you destroy him as a boy, he'll never become a man.
This ain't loud enough. I'm still trying. This ain't loud enough. I'm still trying. This ain't loud enough. I'm still trying. I just left a light in this bitch. I'm finna. I just left a light in this.
Fuck up. Move the fuck back. Back the fuck up. Move the.
Your feet. He looked down, seen his feet. The nigga went berserk. Killed the monkey. Threw the bat out the window. Start kicking that bitch in the air.
Say anyway, but I will. The way quantum entanglement works is that you can take two particles, quantum entangle them, and then take those two particles and move them at any distance in the cosmos. And let's just say, for example, if you quantum entangle two electrons and you have them spinning in the same direction, and then you take one of those electrons and you shoot that thing out 100,000 light years from the original. If you then rotate the spin on the one electron, if you modify it so that its spin changes, the quantum entangled electron at any distance will simultaneously in no time switch its rotation also because they're quantum entangled. So these communication systems are taking advantage of this aspect of quantum mechanics that most people can't wrap their heads around, and this is what they're utilizing. It's just the new level of science that affords us the ability to communicate at any distance instantaneously. Can you?
You don't understand. You don't understand. You don't understand. I ain't scared of you motherfuckers. It's cool enough just being cool, like I am, chilling.
Group of you together, you never can tell who's who. Group of you together, you never can tell who's who. Group of you together, you never can tell who's who.
I've seen a lot of black guys, Nipsey, but you're overdoing it.
TikTok. TikTok. A lot of the white content creators on TikTok get all of their dances from the black content creators.
You're a philosopher? Yes. You're a philosopher? Yes. You're a philosopher? Yes. I think very deeply.
Damn white boys out there. Most of them is psychopaths and all that. They'll kill your mama's mama and you.
Decent white folk that still don't know they're racist.
What the hell you want here, hunky?
I don't mean to be out of line. I mean to be rude. I don't mean to be out of line. I mean to be rude.
I'm a walking dead man, is what they call me when I come. Heavy, I'm a walking dead man, is what they call me when I come. I hit the loot juice, it pulls up in the. I hit the loot juice, it pulls up in the.
All right. Joyful Wednesday. Been very joyful, easy for me. But Devontae, do I think that Tim Duncan was better than David Robinson? Yeah, I think he had a greater effect. Arguably, but you know what I have trouble with is matching Tim Duncan and Bob Pettit. Like, who was really more dominant? Bob Pettit was 6'9", 6'10". He gave Bill Russell 61. I mean, he gave, when they won the championship in 58, I think it's 58, Bob Pettit gave Bill Russell 61. He dropped 61 on Bill Russell, and everybody thinks Bill Russell was so great. Wilt commonly dropped 50, 60 on Bill Russell. But anyway, so that's my thing is, do I even put Tim Duncan over Bob Pettit? Because skill set wise, I thought Bob Pettit, if you really study his game, he had a better skill set. Ran up and down the court a little quicker in his moves. But Tim Duncan, I mean, those 2 years where he destroyed Shaq, not many destroyed Shaq. Tim Duncan destroyed him. I just, I've been a Laker fan since Wilt, and I am watching Tim Duncan just destroy Shaq, where they couldn't keep Shaq on him because he was about to foul Shaq out. I never saw David Robinson destroy Shaq. And I think that's the difference right there. And I never saw David Robinson really destroy Kevin Garnett. I saw live here. He used to, I can't tell. I saw them play a lot here, and he used to just he had fun destroying Garnett. The more shit Garnett talked, the more Tim would just destroy him. And I mean, very simple dude. Wanted to be on the right side block, shoot that bank. You already knew what he wanted to do. You knew his spot, but no one could stop it. David Robinson was probably a better defender. I would say that, but again, that came with a slightly more size. Tim Duncan was really a forward. Same with Bob Pettit. Really a forward that had to play center most of their career. Because when David Robinson retired, he was playing center most of the time. They always tried to put somebody big in there, but technically he was the center. So I would definitely put Tim Duncan over David Robinson. But Devontae, thank you for joining. And because of the question, I know you got to have vision. El Dragon, I'm Maroon Khan. Thank you for joining. And I know you got to have vision. All right, you know how I start off both my shows. I start off my shows. Now, I think I explained this last week. I got up in time, and I didn't go play pickleball because I looked at how I felt. I was still quite sore. And I noticed last week, now there's some weeks I play 3-4 times a week, but I noticed last week, Wednesday, my game wasn't as sharp. And a lot of it was for fatigue from playing the other day, the other playing Monday, Tuesday. I played 3 hours Monday. I played 2 hours Tuesday. And so it was, so I noticed last Wednesday, it was a lot of fatigue in that day. Just, I had went so hard the days before. So I took off today, but I still was active. So I went out to the Mall of America and, wow, I don't even know how long I walked. Now it's interesting. I only burned, still calculating. Still calculating. So I exercised. Nah, this is not right. Let me see. It says, it was a little longer than that. Let's see down here. 3 floors. Well, it got me. I know I paused it. So right here, 1 hour and 32 minutes. That's what I thought. Yeah, it was 1 hour and a half. Yep, 1 hour and a half is what was done today. I got 1 hour and a half today. I swam 875 yards, whatever that is. I accumulated 716 strokes. That was last night. So, my heart was up to 100. Let's see if this is See how high I got my heart rate up while I walked. It's up in here somewhere. So I still got 9,000 steps in. I still got over 4.5 miles. And I didn't even turn, it'll still count, the phone will still count my steps when I go out, when I went out to the outlet. Because I went out to the outlet quickly. And so, it's a big difference of calories burnt. But still, let me see, where did my... Okay, so I never got my heart above 98. So that's yeah, never got my heart rate above 98. But continuous walking, and so that was I think I'm still going swimming. It's hot up here, y'all. What does the watch say? 97, which is a record for this date. The previous high on this date was 93. So even though I didn't get to do rigorous exercise, I was still active. And I swam for an hour last night. I did swim for an hour. The children swim for about 3 hours, my daughter and my great nephew. I shot baskets. I took my shoes in there. I got to find my old insoles because the shoes I shot baskets with didn't have insoles in them. I must have been using, so I've got to take insoles and put in those shoes. But I shot baskets. I shot about 25, 30 shots. So I do that. And then no telling how many we shot in the pool because we shoot baskets in the pool. We try to see how many we can make. And that is, people don't know, this is just a lot of good exercise. And the balls in the pool, because I float with the ball, so the balls get waterlogged, so they're a little heavier in the pool. And so, this builds you up. You look at my little short video. My arms is just, despite the fact there's something wrong with my left arm, it's not as strong as it should be for some reason. Don't have as much strength as I should have because I can normally, I'm like, even though I play pickleball with both hands, I can also shoot with both hands, but I can't shoot with my left hand. It's not strong enough for some reason. So I went out there and it's interesting. It was about 40,000 people. It was more than usual, and there's probably people going back to school and stuff. So it's about 40,000 people out there today. Didn't eat out there because I ate before I went. Didn't really get hungry until I got home. So, even though I wasn't busy, I didn't play pickleball, I was still active. And it's too hot right now. I'm not going to try to play pickleball at 97. And I've got an appointment first thing in the morning. So I don't know. It's only supposed to be 91 tomorrow. So it's not going to be quite as hot. So yeah, I think I might, because even though I'm probably not going to get out there to play pickleball till about 10:30. And then it's going to be 88. So it's going to be 91 tomorrow, 88, 78, 79, and then by Monday, 76. And going into the holiday weekend, they give us Friday. It's supposed to be 82 next Thursday, 82 next Friday, 82. So mild. So mild. So we've got, whoops. Okay. Didn't want that. All right. Give me back. Okay. So that's, so it looks like if I can get out there by, it's going to be mild. If I get out there by 11, 10:30, 11, it'll still be pretty mild. So that's the plan. Try to play tomorrow later, then I'm going to go out there because I have a meeting at 9:30. 9:30, I got a meeting. So I definitely got to get out there. I'll get out there a little later, but it's some people still get out there. So that's what I'll be doing. And so I know this heat is probably everywhere. And so today, it's always debauchery going on in the universe. And I guess it's to see, what kind of debauchery is really going on around here in this local area. And I'll say this. It's funny about the electric age, the information age. Like now you don't even have to read a book. You can absorb the story by listening. And, they started that for people that were, hard to see. And a lot of people that, that is kind of, the audio is kind of turned into the way a lot of people pass dead time. Like you ride in a car or something, exercising, that people listen to stories. And I think that is a great way to absorb a lot of information. No doubt about that. It's a great way to absorb information, but it's nothing like holding a book. Now, you know, the pros and cons is you can absorb more information listening. The pages go quicker. But holding it, especially some of this information, some of the things I look up, and some the books don't even exist. You can just get them, you know, you can get them on here. But to hold a book that truly has a meaning to you, I think is a little stronger. I think the energy hits you a little stronger to live the stories as you're reading it. And I don't read any fiction. That just doesn't appeal to me. But if you do read that kind of thing, you live it as you're, you know, as you're reading and absorbing. And the same thing can be heard of as you listen. I mean, that can be heard of, but just the way people apply themselves. When people listen, they tend to be doing something else. When you read a book, you ain't doing nothing but reading a book. So if you're exercising and listening again, you know, the listening is secondary. And I'm not saying you can't absorb it, but again, it's secondary. The way you're bringing it in is secondary compared to if you're holding the book, and you really have to concentrate. Now, I had a teacher talking about from Detroit to Battle Creek, hour and 10, 15 minutes, she would read a book from Detroit, Michigan, or from Battle Creek, Michigan to Detroit. She said she would read a book, which I was like, you're lucky to be alive, lady. You are lucky to be alive. And, you know, I don't think it happened, but yesterday, I would dang near, we saw a plane. We were riding. We saw a plane, a big plane, and I don't know if it was emergency landing. I couldn't tell because where it went and disappeared, it could have went to, because we have 4 or 5, like we have 2 major airports here, but we got a bunch of small airports, private airports, but we have a bunch of just smaller airports too. And I looked, and it was way too low. Like it was nowhere near where it could land, but it was too low to be flying around here. It's to such a big plane. So where it disappeared, I'm guessing it had to emergency land in Eden Prairie if they could handle that big a plane. It was a really big plane, but it was super low. And to give you an example, a little 2-seater, 4-seater plane compared to where they fly. I mean, it's this type of distance. The planes fly way up here. The smaller planes and helicopters be down here. This plane, I saw this big old jet was like way down here where helicopters and small planes would be. Now again, it turned kind of to my west and it turned away from us, but it was way, way too low, way too low. Even my daughter, I was like, look at that plane. And my daughter's like, wow, that plane is super low. So I don't see where a plane crashed here. It doesn't seem like a plane crashed. Because that would be definitely big headline news. So no plane crash at all. So don't know what happened. Guess we can start the day through here. Oh no, we'll start here. Check this out. We will start it here. Yeah, I caught this yesterday. And when you're talking about a program with millions, makes you wonder. All right, here we go. And this is at the University of Minnesota. Minnesota.
Alumni may be victims in a data breach under investigation right now. The university contacted law enforcement and launched an investigation with the help from outside global forensics experts. Fox 9's Corin Hoggard is live on campus with the mistakes one expert says that could lead to this type of breach, and one alum who's not too worried. Corin?
Yeah, hacker claims that he seized 7 million Social Security numbers last month. The university hasn't explicitly confirmed that, but they are now investigating, and they confirmed that earlier today. A late July post to the dark web's Cactus blog announced a massive breach impacting University of Minnesota students dating back to 1989.
Assuming what he is saying is true, it is a very large amount of individuals affected by this alleged breach.
Cybersecurity expert Mark Lanterman says he hasn't tracked down student Social Security numbers or any other related data in the usual underground marketplaces. But if it's out there, he says this would probably be an unforced error by the university as it digitized the data.
Why was this information going back to 1989 stored on a computer that could be accessed by someone on the internet?
Gopher alumnus Carlos Mostic says breaches always make him a little nervous, but based on what the hacker claims to have gotten, his level of concern is low.
Things like Social Security numbers, since I think it was the Equifax breach a few years ago, is kind of like, well, it's probably out there already anyway.
Earlier this year, hackers also hit the Minnesota Department of Education and the Minneapolis Public School District. Mostic says every breach is a reminder for people to use multi-factor authentication so hackers can't pry loose any other accounts, and for organizations to invest in cybersecurity.
It seems almost inevitable that companies are going to be under one form of attack or another.
And Lanterman says organizations should conduct data audits to determine what data they're storing and exactly why they're storing it. And he says people should go ahead and freeze their credit because that's the best way to protect them.
Wow, that's serious. I mean, that's serious. That's a hell of a breach. That is serious. And so, you know, you think you didn't make the mistake because the university kept your information around. The information was out there to be taken. And one thing is, you know, you go into adulthood, especially you go to college, and you go to college, you're known as your Social Security number. You know, so this was no individual mistake. This was a group mistake. Yeah, and right here.
New developments tonight in a...
This is, you know, we've been having a lot of vehicles stolen, and they're going to tell you about, well, they're going to tell you about it. Here we go.
Developments tonight in a string of luxury vehicle thefts out of Golden Valley. Those thefts occurring at auto businesses.
Charges are now filed against one of the alleged ring.
All right. I'm sorry I didn't see this question. What do you think about Steph being the greatest of all time? Well, the greatest point guard. Again, everything, if you look at his career, and this is okay, let me get this. If you look at Steph's career, high school, college, his whole life, he was around basket manipulation. Every level that he played in, he had help with basket manipulation. Every level, even in high school. And you can't say the basket manipulation ain't in high school, because I saw Suggs in them play. I saw Chet play in high school. So them games was on TV, them games was manipulated. So when Curry was, 10, 12, 13, 14 years ago, when Curry was at Davidson or wherever he went, College of Charleston, I thought he went to Davidson. His whole career, he had help. So what we have to look at players that wasn't helped by basket manipulation. Same thing, Reggie Miller, same thing. Same thing, Ray Allen. You have to go back because, again, the first few years of basket manipulation, they seemed to only be able to get one or two shots a game. They weren't able to do it a whole lot. It's kind of like if you go to the movie Flubber, Robin Williams, but how they was experimenting with it. Like just first time is you can't control it, then they kind of learned how to control it by putting it in the shoes and stuff. And that's what it was. They were trying to control it. And basket manipulation was very much like a toy I had. It was a balloon with a little bitty fan, and you had a kind of almost a joystick. And you could control the way the balloon and the fan went. That's basic. This toy I got in the 60s, this is pretty much what we're seeing. So for him to say he's the greatest, I would say if you put the asterisk under the basket manipulation system, yes, he's benefited the most ever from basket manipulation, more than anyone else. And as I've said before, it's funny, you know, and I'll keep saying this. It's funny how Steph's career was aimed at taking away big men. That's what Steph's career was taking away American-born big men. But they don't seem to have a problem bringing Joker over here, huh? Don't seem to have a problem bringing these foreigners over here to 6'10", 7 foot. But yet look at the 7-footers that's from America, journeymen, or they ain't even in the league. But they ain't got no problem bringing a 7-footer from somewhere else. So no, Steph is either, like, no one will say, okay, I'm gonna tell you another problem is turnovers. I think we could probably even look Steph's turnovers up. He's turnovers, and he can't guard. Remember that championship with LeBron and them, and everybody that whoever they went at Steph constantly. Couldn't guard anybody. He couldn't switch on anybody and stop him. So we got guards out. Like I would put defensively. It's so many people I could put in front of him defensively that would take that away. And him and Isaiah basically the same height. Now, like Isaiah said, his game was mid-range. That's the way they taught his game. His game was mid-range. His game was getting the back, get free from the back, get free near the basket, or go to the basket, beat someone on the dribble and go to the basket. And that's probably me too. My generation is beat somebody on the dribble. Later, when I got older and I could shoot, I started shooting, but it was beat people to go to the basket. So you got two people trained really differently. And by the time the three came, Isaiah really wasn't a pure shooter. So, I mean, that's what really helped Larry Bird. Larry Bird was always a pure shooter. So when it came where, you know, he really was encouraged to shoot more threes, he was already built to shoot threes because he was a good outside shooter. If you looked at Magic, Magic was a set shooter. Magic did not have, like, look at how they manipulated Magic shots. They all set shots. Like even the All-Star game. Like, look at those shots in the All-Star game and how manipulated they are. So, Steph Curry has had the best manipulation system there is. So, there's others that without as much help. Now, I'll say this. The system wasn't as good for Reggie Miller, and the system wasn't as good for Ray Allen. I will give that up. Some of the older guys, younger than me, but older players, their manipulation system wasn't as perfect as the system is now. Because what we saw from Steph's career, especially his early 3-4 years, is they can manipulate it from anywhere. And that's the one thing that we all woke up to is like, before they could only manipulate, like you look at Jerry West's shot, that's like thrown from where he shot it from, but he shot it from the 3-point of the other team, like a little bit beyond the free throw line. And they were able to manipulate that in. But what they showed you with Steph's game is that they can manipulate it from anywhere, any angle. I mean, like, it's funny, I was watching something the other day where, you know, he's shooting it and he's turning around consistently. Do you know that throws you off? Because to make any shot, like free throws, for example, you have to do the same thing every time. Same thing. But it's funny how he can just change it and twist around in circles and nothing goes. Prime example, I'm shooting in the pool. I'm just shooting baskets in the pool. I could feel instead of this, I could feel like I got a little spin out here on my jumper. And of course, the ball would catch the basket and spin away. I could feel it when my hand just spun little out, you know, instead of getting the full this, I got a little spin in that. I could just feel it when I released it. The ball spun on me a little bit. So we know this theatrics is helped by that. Now, would he would be the number one person that was helped the most by the machine. Now, did I put him the best point guard? Again, assist. He ain't nowhere near. Turnovers. That was my point of getting him is he's always been he makes bad decisions with the ball. So that makes him a 2, not really a 1. I mean, yes, they give him the ball because they run action so he can shoot. But he's not. He doesn't really even have a scoring point guard mentality. His mentality is just to shoot, not really to set up the offense. I mean, the only time he really will be effective passer is he's getting double teamed out front. And again, he has trouble with double teams. He turns the ball over way too much. So for him to be considered the greatest, you have to look at everything. And I say because of turnovers, nowhere near. Especially the responsibility of what a point guard. I mean, would we think he was greater than really Iverson? Was he more talented than Iverson because Iverson didn't win any championships? And Iverson wasn't really a three-point shooter, but do we really say Steph was better than Iverson? I don't think anybody would think that. Again, Iverson's thing was like Isaiah. Iverson and Isaiah was almost the same player. Beat you going to the basket. Mid-range. That kind of game used to mean something. So, there's no way I'd put him over Iverson or Isaiah. I don't put him over either one. Now, talent-wise. Johnny Oggs, what's happening? Thank you for joining. I know you got to have.
You got to have vision.
Yeah, so that's what I think about what he said. I caught a little bit of it, but that's how you got to reference it. You look at his reference, what makes him good, you know? Now, I'll never say that he can't shoot. I'll never say that. But with so many of your shots being manipulated, it's hard for me to judge how good a shooter you really are. Because your whole career, the whole time he's been in any program, he's had help. And now I'll say this. I talk about how much they try to develop European players. They put a lot of money in developing Steph. To make sure he had them manipulated hoops back then, they again, the evil geniuses are 10 to 20 years ahead of us. The daddy didn't have the talent, but they gave the talent to Steph. And really, they wanted to give the talent to the brother. Because he went from junior college to Duke. And he was the one. Seth was the one they really thought was going to be the one. Was Seth, because he went to Duke. But he really, again, he's the daddy all over again. Seth is the daddy all over again. Can't guard anybody. Can't guard anybody. Not really going to rebound. And you really don't want him handling the ball. He's he's an off guard. I wouldn't even give him a 2. More of an off guard kind of cat. How long have I been going? Because shit, we might be leaving to go swimming in a minute. I don't know. I don't think she's going to get done till about 5. But this is what I went out to the mall. Urban Outfitters. I got another saddlebag. You can put anything in this. This thing is so big. But it was only $35. Urban Outfitters. One of my son's favorite stores. But it was a little better than the plastic I had. You can put everything in this sucker. You know, it's heavy. A little heavier, a little more pockets. So if you like saddlebags, there you go. Now they gave me a neat little bag. Neat little bag. So it's kind of cool. But here's a story. Again, I've been following the ring of thefts around here, and here's a story. Nino the Don, what's happening? And I know you got to have
vision.
For checking me out. All right, here we go.
Leaders in a case where a brand new 6-figure Maserati was stolen. Fox 9's Paul Bloom joining us from Golden Valley PD. Paul, police believing that these thieves are actually using these pricey vehicles to commit more crimes.
Yeah, Amy, Randy, you might think a Maserati, a Porsche, a Camaro. These suspects be risking felony arrest to make some good coin, right? Move these cars.
The shirt seems a little, I don't know, Seemed like he wanted a little bigger collar here, but he's got the t-shirt on. He's wearing a t-shirt. I would have went a little bigger around the collar, but yeah, let's go.
Cars out of town, get them overseas, sell them, do whatever. But no, turns out authorities believe these guys are just using them to create more chaos and mayhem out on city streets. Brian Barriger and his distinctive facial and neck tattoos made it easier for authorities to quickly ID him as a ringleader in a recent string of high-end vehicle thefts from auto businesses in Golden Valley. Surveillance video taken from the Morey's Reconditioning Center earlier this month captured the thieves in action, ramming the garage door, then swarming inside. And all they would make off here was 7 vehicles, including a brand new Maserati worth more than $120,000.
These individuals have been using these stolen vehicles to commit other serious crimes.
Golden Valley Police Chief Virgil Green, it tells me, he believes law enforcement has now recovered all of those cars, as well as a Porsche stolen in a separate incident. As for Barriger, he was arrested late last week in a stolen blue Camaro. According to charges filed Monday, the 33-year-old attempted to run, reportedly ramming squads as law enforcement moved in. Authorities eventually disabling and pitting the car against a tree before taking Barriger into custody. Court records indicate the Sandstone man has 25 prior felony convictions, is currently on probation, and received what's known as a dispositional departure or less time on a felony vehicle theft conviction just last year in Mille Lacs County.
Everybody deserves, to mine out of jail, but when you have repeat offenders, these individuals really need to be somewhere where they do not commit these crimes, because if this guy would have still been in jail, we would not have been dealing with the 7 or 8 stolen cars we had in Golden Valley.
Online records indicate Barriger was in front of a judge this afternoon. He'll return.
Interesting. Interesting. I want to see this show about this big ass cat. Where is it? Is this about the cat? Nope, that ain't it. Let's see. Where is the shit about these damn? Where is it? They're about to show it. Oh, here they go. I'll tell you what. Some of this, I saw one of these up in this ain't gonna be. This is a quick little video. I saw one of these not too far, and check this out. Get it. Look how big that thing is. And this is a panther. Look how big that cat is. That cat big as most dogs. One of these came when I was living in Prior Lake, and we saw the ring from, it went like the street. Like I lived down, like say the street I lived in was north and south. It went on the east and west street that intersected with my street. So it went right. It showed the ring. It showed one of these big ass panthers actually walking down the street behind my street or next to my street. Look how big that thing is. That thing could eat a dog. You'd have to have a big dog. See? Scared it. Yeah, scared it. But look at that thing. Look how big that thing is. That thing is huge. Wow. Wow. That is something that you don't want to see come around you. You say, Nino, that Joker is the greatest? No, not really. He's manufactured. He's manufactured just as well as Steph. I mean, they put him in a program. Like I mentioned, Steph, Joker, Luca, they were in under programs like our AAU program. They were in programs like that as boys under the tutelage of the NBA. As I said, they were so desperate. They're so desperate to get rid of American players. They used to follow around tall people in Europe. And I forget where I got that from, but it's a book that talks about how desperate they are. They would see, like, they saw this tall cop, and they followed him home to see if he had any tall children so they could teach him to play basketball. That's how much they hate the American player, that they'll go those levels to try to find, the great white hype. I mean, Joker's hype as well. We see the Charles Barkley rules ignored for Joker. Remember, they Charles Barkley. One thing that Charles Barkley was the best at was he could back down anybody, like bar none. Like he put Charles Barkley in. I would even say, because I always felt that Charles was a little more athletic than Karl Malone. Karl Malone was pretty stiff. He was pretty stiff, but not Charles. Charles could really run in a different kind of way. Again, Malone was a lot taller, but Charles put the strength, because what, Charles 6'4", maybe 6'5", but and because he was, he was a chunky college player. If you remember, he was a chunky college player, but he put the strength in the game. And as Isaiah and Iverson would like get slippery to try to make you, go one way or the other to get clearance, Barkley didn't really need that. Barkley just needed his back to you and you turning when he's turning, and he's backing up and he's turning. And he was so strong, no matter who it was, he would get a shot off near the rim. But it would take all 20 seconds for him to do that. But he was that good. He was that good at could isolate with anybody and score on anybody. And that's what people forget about Barkley. As he was the best ever, like Truck Robertson game, Adrian Dantley, he was the greatest of that kind of player. He was definitely the greatest, even better than, I would say Bernard King was a better shooter. So when it came to shooting short shots, like mid-range, yeah, Bernard King had him beat there because he was a better shooter. But around the basket, there was probably none his size better. His size, a small forward. But again, they made rules to make him stop doing that. Joker and Luka to get to do it all day. Same thing. Get the ball with 20 seconds left, trying to back somebody down. And Luka, all of them copying the 1 foot, the 1 foot fallback shot. So I can't see how he could really be the greatest, because they're letting him do something that's supposed to be illegal to do. And what's interesting with Luka is, I said, Luka, neither one of them are marketable. Did Joker even get a car for being MVP? Did he even get a car? I've seen no picture with him getting a car. So, oh, Nicole B, what's happening?
Got to have vision.
Nowinski or whatever his name is. None of them. Okay, name a European player that has been marketable. Giannis ain't even marketable. They give him the same dry little commercials. The one commercial, they put a dude on the ladder so he can look at him. Then the dude jumps out. He's 5 foot. I was like, what's the point of that? You couldn't have just hired a taller dude if that's the shot you wanted to make. But none of them are marketable. Joker ain't marketable. Luka definitely ain't marketable. I mean, people forget Luka, when him and Porzingis came in the league and was playing with Dallas together, they had the Nazi haircuts. They looking straight like SS officers. I mean, y'all got to remember that. Luka's first year, when him and Porzingis played together, always SS haircuts. Looking like them Nazis. And I pointed that out. I think that's on this channel. I think I pointed that out before. Well, this channel only goes back to 20. So, but it definitely pointed that out on the other channel. Well, they took the other channel down to 20. So yeah, I pointed that out years ago on the other channel. So they want to make, it's like they want to make them the face of the league, yet they can't make money off them. Like Muhammad Ali used to say, they can't carry no gate. Luka ain't carrying no gate. Joker ain't carrying no gate. It's them other players in the league. So, but it's funny. Like I was looking at jerseys and I saw they had the Jesus Shuttleworth jersey, and it has Lincoln High on it. And it was I could have got it for about $30, but it was well made, no doubt. But Lincoln, why would I want to wear something that says Lincoln across me? That goes back to that slave shit, Lincoln. And then 34 is kind of, I call that the Walter Payton. It's kind of locked into that kind of energy. That's the problem with Giannis. Giannis got 34, and that's that Walter Payton energy. Even Mel Daniels, I think, wore 34. when he played in the ABA. So that energy it's not going to ever be the dominant energy. You know, they want 32, 23. They're going to always keep those as dominant energies hooping. That's why LeBron wore it. Like Magic could tell you, like Magic wore 32. One year he didn't. He had to wear 33 too. In high school one year, maybe his sophomore year, he wore 33, or maybe his freshman year. And then he wore 32. But when he went to Michigan State, he had to switch to 33. Like you look at the statue at Michigan State, it's 33, not 32. Because Greg Kelser wore 32. And Greg Kelser went in the ritual before, Magic did. So that's why Greg Kelser wore 32. Again, Jim Brown. Same reason why Michael Jordan wore 23. It's the Jim Brown. And how many people, go through that cycle of being 32 or 23? Mark Aguirre, Ed DePaul. I think when Mark Aguirre came into the league, I think when Mark Aguirre played in the Pistons, he switched to 23. He wore 23 or 24. I'd have to look it up, but I think he wore 23. But so many players, again, this is all ritual when it comes to, it's this ritual. So that's the energy. That's the energy that they use. Oh. And I think our fair started today. I don't think we're going today. It's too damn hot. It felt so good swimming yesterday. Oh my goodness. I'm still the kind where I just can't jump in. It'd be a shock to your body. But I get in there shooting baskets. And what's funny is once you stick your hands in, your body gets used to it. So, but being 90, it felt beautiful. And it's nice when you get out the water and don't be freezing. Because when it's like 80s, 70s, it'd be freezing when you get out. When you get in, it's warm enough and, you're not freezing in the water. But when it's like this and it's been like this for 2 days, the water's lovely. I just like sit on a basketball and it gets me like I'm swimming and shit. That's when I turn on the watch, it gets me like I'm swimming and shit. So that's kind of cool. But just to live, an active life, and I try to put out a positive message. And what I say about the players is I don't take all the saying that none of the players can be talented. I never said that. I can't say the players can't make shots because players can make shots. Never said that, but the way they presented Steph Curry is just impossible. It was just impossible. And we see when the system helps the players. We see that all the time. So, and that's all I add to my repertoire, I guess. Yeah, another football game comes on tomorrow. I think baseball is tonight. Whoa. I didn't hear about this one. I wonder if there's an update on this. See if there's an update on this. Might be an update. Oh, damn. Wow. Oh, yeah. Wow. I'll let this story break down as it breaks down because there's a couple more, but I can follow up on this. Is this the same? Yeah, this is the same. Wow. Well, I'll let this play, and I have another one on here I think I can play too. So let's see. I haven't heard about this. Maybe someone else has heard about this. I haven't heard about this. Let's hear.
Into custody. Thanks so much for joining us today. For Fox 5 News at 4, I'm Christine Spiro. The search for little Josiah Mitchell is now well into its second day and has taken a grim turn. Part of that search led investigators to the Griffin landfill on Shoal Creek Road, where detectives searched for any sign of the missing child, and an Eastport apartment complex where police are now draining a lake. Authorities have charged Josiah's father with lying about his son's disappearance. DeKalb police say the child was not kidnapped, as the father first told them. Fox 5's Deidre Dukes has been following the story all afternoon for us. She's live from the East Point apartment complex, where police are draining that lake, Deidre.
Yeah, this has been going on now, Christine, for about 3 hours or so, with police arriving here at around 1 o'clock this afternoon, coordinating this effort, which began officially at around 2 o'clock with the beginning of the draining of this lake, as family members of Josiah Mitchell standing by on scene to see what the outcome is of this search. Of course, everyone here we talked to praying that this child is indeed not found here this afternoon. East Point Police, now the lead agency in the search for Josiah Mitchell. They say that they're leaving no stone unturned as they search for this little boy.
It's your fresh blood. That's your blood. Give us something. I'm not trying to say you got anything to do with it, but he was in your hands last. Let's let him know something, man.
Josiah Mitchell's family members gathered nearby as East Point Police and city water crews drained the lake on the grounds of Elite at Lakeview.
So when you drain the lake, where does the water go? Like there's somewhere that can hold a lake?
Apartment complex on Lakeview.
All right. And that led to this.
The search for a missing.
Okay. Whoa, she's cute. Wow, she's real cute. All right, this is kind of the update on the story. Here we go.
May have come to a tragic end. East Point police believe a body discovered at the East Point transfer station is that of 2-year-old Josiah Mitchell. This afternoon, police discovered a child's body at the facility on South Martin Street. Fox 5's Deidre Dukes is live at the scene with the late-breaking details. Deidre.
And now it's a heartbreaking end to the search for that missing 2-year-old. Fulton County Medical Examiner's Office and East Point detectives on scene here at the East Point transfer station, where this afternoon a child's body was discovered. That child's body believed to be that of missing 2-year-old Josiah Mitchell, whose father falsely reported he'd been kidnapped exactly 1 week ago. Now, if you look behind me, you can see that East Point police are posted at the entrance here this afternoon, monitoring traffic coming in and out of the facility. We're told trash from across the city of East Point is dumped here before it is transferred to a landfill in Griffin. Police say the body has been out in the element for several days, and while investigators suspect it is that of the missing child, they say a forensic pathologist is going to have to identify the body. Now, last Wednesday, Josiah's father, Artavius North, reported the boy was kidnapped by armed robbers in DeKalb. Police say he lied about the kidnapping. He was arrested, charged with making a false statement to police, and just earlier this week, police named him as a person of interest in the case. Now, East Point Police Chief Sean Buchanan was informed at around 1:30 this afternoon, as we wrapped up an interview with him, that his detectives were responding to this location. Before today's tragic discovery, the chief said North was being uncooperative.
Well, I would tell you there are several of his family members who are very forthcoming, and they've tried to talk with him and pleading with him, tell the truth. I would tell you that his family is just as concerned about the child as the mother's family. It's just he is not being cooperative.
And then just after that interview, the developments here earlier this afternoon that a child's body had, in fact, been located here. Investigators said they expected that they'd be on scene for another 2 to 3 hours out here today.
Damn. Wow. And you know what's so sad? Let me see if I can find the shot. Let's see. No, not this shot. Let's see. Right here. Yeah, this is it.
These are posted.
Yeah, this is what's sad. This is probably his daddy right here. In this picture, this is probably his dad right here. It looks like he's playing video games. His daddy's probably hyped up. He drank a couple Cokes. But look at this. This is probably his daddy right here. The person that probably ended his life is probably this person. because that looks like a man's arm, maybe. But yeah, just the dress, it looks like a man. And that's how sad. It looks like another Coke can on the floor here. So, yeah. So sad. Love your children. How could anybody do that to a child? That's beyond me, but that's my humanism. Yeah, I remember that. Man, people look alike. Damn, people look alike. They showed another. No, I don't want to laugh again. We already said that. That's so funny. Oh, that girl getting hit. That is so funny when she gets hit. That is so funny.
Search for a missing toddler leads.
I still, I guess no plane crashed. Guess it was just flying low. Man, I don't know. I don't know what happened. I mean, it was very odd. Where I saw that plane was very, very, very odd. And it really was, I don't know if frightening is it, but if where it would land would definitely be frightening. That was my look at it. Where it could land was definitely, if it landed in a neighborhood, it was going to hurt the neighborhood. Where is this? Right here. Yeah, just like I only caught them throwing the baby out of the window one time during a fire. I couldn't catch that again. Yeah, nothing about a plane crash. Yeah, nothing. So obviously, it landed somewhere safely, which is good. Colorado man recalls meeting Martin Luther King. Wow. Who cares? Like, really? It's funny how some people will like live fame off of other people. I remember the last Negro League player I personally met, and he was signing autographs and shit. And I bought a little bat because, like, the little bat that's right here. I've had this kind of thing since I was a boy. Like, you could go back to see Tigers games, and they would give you, it would be bat day. At one point, they used to give you big bats. Like, they would have bat day, and they would give you big bats, but then they switched to little bats. So I've always had something like this. And I didn't forgot why I was talking about it. But I've always kept a little bat. And I forgot why I brought that up. So I'm old manning. So forgive me for old manning. But yeah, that's not a whole lot going on today. And, it's funny. I'm trained so well where I don't feel bad because I didn't work out. I mean, wintertime comes, there's a lot of times where you really can't work out and then you're forced to work out inside most of the time. But it's also good to let your body rest. And so I listened to my body, and my body was like, we need to chill today. So that was cool. Still got active, still was on my feet. But, didn't get to work my heart up, didn't get to work everything up as much as I've done before. And another thing I love is how focused I can get when I do play pickleball. There's not a lot that I focus on. Like, it's really the type of focus I can get. I still like that being able to focus to accomplish in a few quick thoughts or quick moments. Because that's all life is moments. Like, however many minutes you listen to me, that's the moments. That's what life is. It's just moments. Like, if I die and you can come back and watch this, you see the moments while I was still moving around. And remember, the moment is all you really have. Because again, when fear comes in or you're threatened or you're around danger, the moment becomes more and more important. And instead of you being able to see everything, it's like the moment becomes more and more like this, where the moment is starting to close in on you. Because that's what fear can do. Fear makes the moment and all you know is fear. You know, and Lucy, when she stabs him in the hand, she's like, right now, all you know is fear. Saying that there's other consciousness still working. But when you know just fear, you're not aware of everything. And again, when you get that fearful, you think the moment ain't important because that shit gets to this, to this, to this, and sometimes it gets tiny as a pinhole. You're not seeing hardly anything because your fear is focused. And you might only be looking through that much. I'm not throwing signs, but I mean, really, it could get to this much of your body where just that little bit is all you're looking through. You're just looking through this little bit. Because that's how much the fear has you. You forget about everything else around you and the world around you. And so that's something to work on. But the more you can concentrate on things, and when you concentrate, what's beautiful is everything, the moment is large. The moment is really large. And so anything, you're expecting anything because the moment is so large, because you are taking in the moment in such gratitude that you get the moment. And so you're taking that moment in such good force, good energy that the moment you're welcoming the moment. It's almost like a drug of give me more and more and more. Because you become so focused. And I'm trying to think of the word. It's like when you get hot in basketball, or you hitting the ball, you seeing the ball, or a lucky streak. Like any, gambling, like shooting dice is one of the few things left that it's one of the few things I could say that was not manipulated and people could have a energy there. Without having to cheat, dudes would just have an energy for shooting dice. And I've talked about this many, many times. It was one of out of all the games of chance, that was one of the one games that, because my father was the kind of father, we went into the gambling joints. I mean, I've told the story more than one time. My stepmother gave him $10 to buy me a pair of sandals. This nigga went and lost it on one roll. He was shooting 10. And shooting 10 mean, if you hit, you get 20. But if you bust, you don't get nothing. But I got to watch that close up. And as I got an adult, it was the only game I really liked playing. I don't pay attention enough to play cards. I just don't. I get high and have a couple drinks. I'm not paying attention to cards. Even spades, I really just don't pay attention to cards. Sitting there looking at the cards, that's boring to me. It's never any energy in that to me. But throwing those dice, it was the energy. And like I mentioned before, the way we shot dice in Michigan, we stuck them to you. And I watched dudes that could be able to get them stuck, somebody else shake them and shake them in your hand and shake them and then throw them and hit. So I have a story where a dude did 11 straight passes one time. 11 straight passes in a casino. And when you win in casinos, they do everything to see if you're cheating. Taking the dice, measuring them, bring the micrometers out and shit there, measuring them and shit. The calipers and shit. Well, are they still square? Is he shaving them off? They'll do anything because they know a lucky streak is a streak. And so they try to chop the streak up. But that old dude was like, yeah, I don't care what you do. I'm winning every time until I quit. And he surely did. He surely did. And they couldn't catch him cheating. I don't think he was cheating, but it's that kind of energy. And dice are one of the few things. But I've seen dudes, I've said before, seen dudes that could bank them and still hit. Seen dudes that could throw them over the little hump. As another way they try to do. Because it's dudes that really could, even sticking them, dudes could make a dice not even roll. It's people that could make one dice roll and the other one would just slide with the other one. But because you're seeing the one kind of jump up and down, it kind of hides what the other one's doing. But the other one's not doing nothing but slide. I watched the dude do that. He could throw one and one would be juggling. The other one would just be sliding on that number. And it wasn't a magnet dice or nothing like that. It was just a regular dice, but he had that skill. So, okay, they just, yeah, so I guess, guys, no big plane crashed. So that's good. No big plane crashed. Oh, this is a little informative. I think everybody knows this, but this is informative. This is kind of informative. Yeah, so our fair opened up today. Yeah. I'm going to show this because they've been going after brothers here, and they've been hitting brothers with this that are in gangs. You know, the RICO Act was made to go after gangsters. The RICO Act was almost saying that if you have a monopoly on crime and you ordered the murder, you're just as guilty as the people under that did it. If you're the mastermind. And that's really what they did, is they changed the rules. they changed the rules, you know. That's where they was like, well, our laws aren't good enough. We don't have anything that we can get him because he didn't do it, but he did it. Yeah, so but this is just a reminder if you didn't know.
Specific type of crime is grabbing headlines as prosecutors look to take down entire groups all at once.
The acronym is becoming well known. What is the RICO Act and how does it impact organized crime? Good question. Jeff Wagner talked with a lawyer who specializes in these cases.
From gangs on city streets.
This is historic for this state and for the work that we do.
To potential interference with election results.
The defendants engaged in a criminal racketeering enterprise.
Federal and state prosecutors are leaning on a law that marked a turning point in how criminal enterprises are dismantled.
I think it caused a reorganization of organized crime.
Jeff Grell is a University of Minnesota adjunct professor who teaches a class on RICO. What is the RICO Act?
Technically, it stands for the Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act. It's a very handy law to address large groups of people all at once under one count. And it makes it far more likely that all of those people can be tried together in one trial.
Created in 1970, RICO targeted the mafia, ensuring the leaders of these syndicates could be held responsible for up to 35 crimes, including...
What's interesting, though, they show a picture, but Carlos Gambino was never prosecuted for anything. He was never prosecuted for anything. Not Carlos Gambino. And I'm trying to think, he's the oldest. They show this picture, but it's odd that they show a picture and this man was never prosecuted for anything. Never told on anybody. And I think all these are offshoots of him. This was a Gambino family, but he was never charged with anything because Big Paul took it says Castellano. Yeah, Big Paul. This is who Gotti killed. He killed Big Paul. Gotti killed him. He was married to his sister, but he never was indicted for anything. He started getting the hot water and was probably talking. He was stupid anyway. I'll say this about Castellano. Castellano he truly tried to make the top people be all about business. I would say Michael Corleone was somewhat based on Castellano, of wanting to be legitimate gangsters. But if you go back to him, he never got caught for anything. And he was allowed to do it for about 40 years. 40 years. So, but I'll let them go tell it.
To 35 crimes, including murder, gambling, extortion, robbery, drug dealing, and money laundering.
So what RICO did is it allowed prosecutors to prosecute people who didn't get their hands bloody in the crime, but were operating and managing an enterprise, knowing that that enterprise was engaged in criminal conduct.
In Minneapolis, nearly 60 gang members are now charged in one RICO case. The massive undertaking requires collaboration between local, state, and federal agencies.
War room, sort of, like prosecutors did years ago, prosecuting the Gambino family.
In Georgia, former President Donald Trump and 18 others face RICO charges, alleging they tried to overturn the 2020 election results. While those cases grabbed the spotlight, Grell said RICO is more often invoked in civil cases involving corporations.
The Catholic Church has been a RICO defendant. Every major Fortune 500 company has been a RICO defendant.
What are the penalties under the RICO Act?
The minimum sentence is 5 years, and then it can go up to 20 years.
RICO also has the power to freeze a defendant's assets before the case even gets to trial.
So that obviously assets can't be moved overseas, money can't be spent, money can't be transferred.
Jeff Wagner, WCCO News.
Former President Donald Trump faces...
So thought I'd put that in there if you had never heard of that part. Funny smile. So if you've never, that's kind of how they get them. How they. Golly, what?
Ben and Sarah.
This is what? Okay, let them tell this. Another cutie though. Another cutie. Let them tell this. All right.
Have been a lot worse. Imagine a boy outside playing. He finds a gun, brings it inside, and shoots himself. Now, all of this happening here on Martin Street, inside of the two-family home that you see here behind me, based on a preliminary investigation. Hartford police say a 6-year-old boy was outside playing when he found a gun. He brought it inside, and that shot was accidental. They say he shot himself, and it went through his hand. The boy's father called 911 around 1 o'clock today. Officers were already in this area, so they were here within minutes. Now, police say that the boy told his family that he found that gun outside while playing, and he brought it inside. Hartford Police Department Special Investigation Division here on scene, and they're trying to figure out where the gun came from and who it belonged to. We spoke with neighbors who say they heard the bullets, and we also caught up with police who say that that child is now at Connecticut Children's Medical Center with his mother. Now, right now, police are planning to interview the family as well. Again, they've been talking to neighbors and they've been combing this area. Again, police say that they do expect that boy to recover. He's expected to be okay. And all of this happening here on Martin Street, right behind Unity Plaza, at the same time that anti-gun violence advocates are gathered there to deter this gun violence here in this community. So we will be following this closely. We're also going to work to turn around some information for you from police and from neighbors. We'll have that for you coming up in our 6 o'clock hour. We're live in Hartford. I'm Samaya Hernandez, Fox 61, Connecticut.
Wow, yeah, she's cute. Like, who freaking loses a gun? Sounds like a story to me, y'all. Sounds like a story to me. But I've been going about an hour. Okay, I'm not going to go too much longer. It's good, you know. It's good being a mature, older fella. It's like a lot of stuff doesn't faze me.
From the Twin Cities to the White House, a
lot of stuff doesn't interest me. And, yeah. Wow. Yeah, and a lot of things don't really interest me. And so I don't talk about them because it's so many things have such low energy when talked about. It takes your energy away to even think about some of this stuff. And so it's like, why? And like especially programs and, you know, parroting shows and parroting events, because they put out events for you to parrot. And a lot of people fall for that shit. It's like over and over again, you parrot what you've heard. It's like people got clowned after doing it, but it was like you had all these people who was the first to read something on Facebook and take it as real. Again, there are certain spells that are meant to be parodied. Like I've talked, you know, over the years about the end of the day parodying. Like another parodying was, I appreciate you. It's like you hear one person, then you hear everybody saying that shit. But they have events that's the same way. They have events that everybody's going to parrot off the event. It's all you might want to talk about. It's like niggas talking about this submarine, and I don't know any niggas that want to go on a submarine. So why would I care about some rich folks? And they weren't even rich. Well, maybe the one guy was, but obviously having to do business because you got to go down there with them. I mean, so couldn't have been too rich to me if you got to go down with the ship. So why? What good is it for me to parrot these other things? I try to point out some unusual things that still make you think like, wow, how does this even happen? Now, some of these parrot events are really big. And so, yes, eventually, sometimes I do parrot them, but not very often. And so if you come in to see me or listen to me, I'm not going to talk about all the popular things. Now, of course, sports is my thing, my life. I do talk about that. I talk about fashion. So those are things I enjoy. Shoes. I enjoy shoes. I mean, it's hard for me to go shopping and not buy shoes. So I'm still looking at the ones my daughter, what were they called? Max Flynet? I forget. And her shoes, the white and black pair, are still $160. I'm like, ooh. I don't know if she's getting those. She's not me. So, but I definitely got to get her another pair. So, because I bought her a sweet Nike outfit. And the saying that this is something I learned in college. It's like one of A&T's things was you got to fight even though you want to cry. I mean, I remember the first, it was some kind of A&T cheer, something like that. I'd have to think about it, but that was the line. And I always thought football is that. But life is that too. You want to cry, but yet you got to still fight. So what it means is you can't let emotion or even a wound stop you from keep going. Because life is nothing but wounds. And you can't let that be the factor that stops your motion. Because most events, and as I always talk about moments, most moments you've been through them moments before. This moment may come different and unexpected, but it's still under the same thing of moments. And you dealt with it before. And so, in turn, you have to deal with it again. So, if that inspires anyone, that's what it's meant for. Just to know is, the problems right now or the difficulties right now don't mean it's going to always be like that. Now, if you a fucked up person and you involved in a bunch of fucked up shit, the way it hits you, you already know it's going to hit you. And that's knowing yourself. If you constantly doing fucked up shit and this shit is hitting you left and right, you already know. And if it's not teaching you to change your behavior, then you're going to be still under it. And it's always going to come at you like that. And you living sketchy, it's the way that sketchy stays with you in everything you do. And will come back and kind of catch up with you or slow you down. But that's the same way as abundance. When abundance comes, it keeps coming. If everything you've done has opened up abundance to you, that's the way it comes. It keeps coming. And people don't recognize is how to get comfortable with abundance. Because you can become comfortable with abundance where you're used to it and you expect it. The Magician's Story, the second season, that third story with the dude from the Cosby Show, where he plays the guy that he's figured out abundance. But he told him, he said, you got to have a filter. You got to have somewhere to send that negative energy off you. And I would agree. Again, I was saying, you just get them wounds. Well, they don't even have to be wounds. You have places to funnel that. It's like, that didn't really hurt that much. Go over there. And so things come, they don't grab onto you. They go over there. Like when I hold harmonizers, my harmonizer is a perfect example. These are two stones that naturally filter everything that comes at me. I have two natural filters of everything that'll come at me. So only the good come through this when I possess these. I'm not going to say good, but only the thing that this feels should come through for me. That's what these help with. And so when you're sitting with meditating something like these, it's hard for unwanted things to penetrate through these. I'm closing it all quiet and shit like y'all can hear it closing. And so these are the things to ponder. Like you don't see me coming out here fighting with folks, talking shit about folks. I ain't got to talk shit about anybody. You do your thing. I'm like James Brown said, you do your thing because I got mine. So I don't need to count yours. Because I'm doing me so much and so well that I don't need to count what you're doing. Oh. I think I need a little energy. Throw a little energy in the show.
Lean and buck, lean, buck, lean, buck.
Whoa, I like that. That gives me a little more energy.
Lean and buck, lean, buck, lean, buck.
Whoa, I like that. I think another one was a little better though.
My word, can't be my equal, I don't know what you heard.
Can't be my equal, I don't know what you heard. That is nasty. And of course from the famous Craig Smith.
I think we OD'd. I think we OD'd.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And that is Pimp Talk 1001. Craig Smith, I think we OD'd. Yes, I love that. Oh, I'm feeling it. Let's give it out. Let's give it out as it comes in. We can give it out and be positive. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. It's funny. I was talking stuff and I see that Michigan has kind of given in to you children Nazis educators out there, because I see that Michigan is starting school yesterday and today. They've given in to the children, get them back into school. We love our children here in Minnesota. I did think that I loved Michigan, but no, Michigan, you hate your children too. School should not start before the 4th, 5th, 6th after the holiday. So then children only go to school a couple weeks in the summer. Michigan, you're giving them 3 weeks of summer instead of 2 weeks of summer, week and a half. So I take Michigan off my list of y'all hate your children too. Children should have after Labor Day, baby, Labor Day. So the children up here, we proudly have until the 4th. So I don't know. But it was interesting seeing all the parents. You know, as I said last Saturday, taking my nephew to college, all the cars we passed, but we didn't see that coming back. Again, the last hour was at night. But my nephew left school. He came back. We're putting him in the transfer portal. You know, now what's so cool is the transfer portal. You ain't even got to say nothing to the coach. You just apply for the transfer. So he transferred out. He didn't like it up there, which, you know, I think he can come back here and play ball somewhere else because there was another offer that he didn't take. So, yeah, we didn't go back until Labor Day, but our son went back on Monday. Oh, yeah. I think Michigan might have started Monday, Tuesday, maybe Tuesday, given the age. But yeah, my daughter doesn't start until the 6th. So, you know, I'm just joking. But some places, they started school the end of July. Some places started school the end of July. They was like, nope, summer's over for you mugs. You got to go back. Yeah, my daughter doesn't start till then, but all this other stuff. And yeah, was trying to get her, couldn't get in contact. I got to get some other stuff because she's going to play tennis. So I got to get all that. I think she doesn't need a physical until she's in 9th grade, I think, because she's had a physical. And then, so I got to see if all that, because normally once you get a physical, you try to do it because it's every 3 years. So yeah, I forget what age you have to do it. So we'll have to do it again in 10th grade. Then it'll cover 10th, 11th, 12th. Yeah, I think that's what it is. So I think she's still covered. I think she's covered till 9th, and then we'll have to get it done in 10th, the way it goes. So I wasn't successful in that, but I got 2 days to try to put that together. It's like, yes, exactly, like the children on the couch, except in the summertime, because I did not see a lot of people. Now, I'll say this again, when we start seeing proms and stuff, we're seeing mostly seniors, and seniors get out early. People forget that when you're a senior in high school, that second semester, you might not even have, but you know, a couple classes that whole semester, unless you're taking college classes too. So most seniors get, by prom, you're not even hardly going to school. You know, seniors get out almost a week and a half to 2 weeks before. So I understand that, but normal students didn't seem to get out any earlier. Now at A&T, we got out the beginning of April. We got out early, and of course I played football, so I went back in August. But yeah, so I would agree that it's almost like they are on college schedules. I would agree. Yep, I would agree with that. And I've kind of watched that change. Now I know it seems like they did an experiment. This is interesting. I was thinking about this the other day. Is they did an experiment on my ex-wife's children, and I say this, her nieces and nephews, and I say experiment. They made them go to school for 2 to 4 years all year round with very few vacations. I noticed my great nephew, whose father's passed, when he was in school, that same time period where them nieces and nephews in North Carolina, they was going to school up here full time. And so that was an experiment they was doing. And it didn't, I can't say, you know, how academically that era did, but it seemed like it must have been some type of experiment they was looking at. Now, someone, please forgive me, maybe someone mentioned that their children, and maybe it was PJ, that his brother's children was going to school all year round. Maybe that wasn't him, whoever that was. I'm sorry if I don't remember. But so they still do that where children go to school like they go to school in Europe and Asia. But you know, the thing about us is what's good about us compared to those other countries is, you know, in 8th grade, your fate is determined. You know, you either going into trades or you going to school, but it's like where the break is very early. And so that's why some countries, academics, they hitting you hard up until 8th grade because, again, you know, you're going into trades or you're going into, you know, higher academic levels. And we don't really do that here. We give everybody a chance. Get out of high school, you still have got a chance. And even the junior colleges, you can still get it. And this is one thing that I don't like, and some of you can relate to this, is the stigma of junior colleges. And I even heard my 20-year-old son, you know, kind of laugh about, he was talking about somebody else, but it's like if you get out of high school and you get to play football or basketball or baseball or volleyball, and you get to do it another year, it doesn't matter if it's a junior college. I mean, that is gravy. that is gravy. You get a 2-year scholarship, like he said in Platoon. You know, you get out of Vietnam, everything for the rest of your life is gravy. So you get 2 more years of doing your thing that might help you for the next 2 or possibly 3 years of doing your thing. I mean, that's nothing to be looked down upon. Even academically, if you ain't playing sports and that's what you can do for right now, that is not anything to be frowned upon. If you hear your children frowning upon that, correct that. There's nothing wrong with paying less. And California used to give you free junior college. You had to live there for 6 months and you got free junior college. And I think that was in the 70s, 80s, or maybe even the 60s. But California, a lot of people was going to California because of that. You live out there 6 months, you got junior college. And some states are turning back to that, or trying right now. I think they're trying to get that here. And right now, a lot of programs is you can start your junior college while you're in high school. And where my daughter's going to high school, she can get her 2-year degree the same time she gets her high school diploma. They've got it set up here that way. And so, you're going to skip 2 years where you don't really, you're still getting it though. So it's nothing to be looked down upon. It's an extra tool for those that have certain means. Yeah, I guess that's the best way to put it. Extra tool for whatever your means are. Because college is not cheap. Especially you got to be housed somewhere. That's not cheap. That's expensive. So.
I'm not sure I understand.
What? Thing can't wait. Yeah, it set a record today. The high today was 93. And right now it says 96. I think I saw it 98 in the car. So it set a record today. So if that's where your children can start, there's nothing wrong with it. Oh, it's like that here in VA also? Yeah, it's yesterday was 90, 98, 99, and today. It was funny. I came out to the Mall of America, and a lady was out there. I was like, woo, it didn't leave. And she's like, woo, is right. Because inside the mall, and what's funny about the mall is the mall doesn't have heat, and it doesn't have air conditioning. It's the same temperature all the time. With the amount of trees and circulation, it stays something like 68, 69. It's kind of interesting because I thought, I'm trying to think where I was because I felt a little hot in there for a minute, but not sweating. But outlet, you all outside. It was people working in outlets they had like in the Polo outlet, they was wearing the full coats and shit of that bug. The air conditioner was so cold. And then lids, I went in to look at lids and the girl, it was so cold in there, she had the front door open. So it was kind of interesting. So that's why we're swimming. And if I don't care. I chill around the house. I got beer already. I ain't got to go out and get beer. And now you can order beer like you used to could order some weed. You can order beer like that. You can just say, hey, I want some beer. And they ask me, what kind do you want? I'm like, I want that Elliot Ness. You got that Elliot Ness, baby? Elliot Ness. They're like, yeah, baby, we got the Elliot Ness. I like, send your guy, run it. Run that Elliot Ness. And they're like, you don't want a cigar this time? A cigar? I'm like, yes, I want a cigar this time. A cigar. How did he know? Like, you call a lot. So, I've got it made. I've got it made. And, it's like a lot of times we look at change and what is change. I know the Gipper, he calls change, change is the beast. The beast is change. But not all change can be the beast. Because there's so many things that change around us. It's a constant change. That's what the past going into the future is. It's a constant change. So I don't know if we can look at the change. Now, I think he's specifically talking about is the individual stream where the change is disruptive, because everything breathing air in and out is a change. That's a constant change. You're breathing new air in and out. But the disruptive change. But again, for every action, it's a reaction sometimes. So if this changes, that changes. So perspective changes, right? And adaptation. Because sometimes change is good because it shows you how to adapt. It's like with my nephew, the change he's went through, I have empathy for him. I understand. He comes from a lot of privilege. And coming from a lot of privilege, to be stuck in a room with another dude like this and looking at all that and where you got to go to the bathroom, that's not hard. It's like when you move from one house to the other, going to the bathroom and it becomes different. You have to adjust to that. Some people like jet lag. You fly to somewhere else. Can you just crap right away? Can you just go right away? But I mean, it's you notice it more when you move from one house to the other, because we are very much creatures of habit. That's why I like having the crapper by itself, and I can just shut the door. I'm just nothing else but me in there, nothing else but me and my crapper. But that kind of change. I mean, chemically, the chemicals in our body is adapting to change, and it shows we can. So this is a physiological change that we still adapt to. So I think we're born to adapt, adjust, because everything is constantly clearing the signal. So that, like Andre 3000 says, so that the signal comes in clear. And sometimes change is the only way the signal can, some people can receive the signal. So, doesn't necessarily have to be a drag, Doesn't have to be a drag on you, baby. A drag. Sometimes it's good to slap you on the face and say, oh, that's why I play the lean and bop. When I feel my energy draining, I'll lean and bop for a few seconds. And I'm like, back to my happy self. And that's what life is. It's about adaptation. And that's, the sports, war. It's what it is you adapt to whatever you're facing. And that's what I love about pickleball. You have to adapt to your partner, the people you facing, the type of ball sometimes. Is the ball worn? Is the ball new? And making these quick moment decisions. And I think that's the big thing is being able to make quick moment decisions helps fight the forget me disease. Because that's what it does. It makes you forget me. I was in the store today and it's like, I got to start getting more of this for my family. And it appears new. It appears real. I'm gonna have to, get in there and really test the stuff, but it appears real. I don't like buying Motivite when I don't know where it comes from, because this stuff is easy to fake, but it appears real. And the energy I get from the people, it appears real. And so I think, this is going to be my way to fight the forget me disease. It's through Motivite. Again, I don't sell this. I ain't benefiting from saying this, but I think this fights this. And if you can get real Motivite, I ain't benefiting from telling you that. I'm saying that this is the only thing I've come around that seems to, crystals have all kind of different things they can do for you. But this one crystal seems to be the one that can fight the forget me disease. So I'm gonna start getting these pieces. Then they come with chains. So I'm gonna start it. I think. I love crystal shops though. It's like the crystals are like, take me, take me, take me, take me, take me. And people don't realize, like, when you buy crystals from big crystal shops, that you really have to isolate, you have to remove all that energy from them. I mean, you have to, because, you know, again, this is all this energy is in there, you know, bumping the heads, because again, crystals work in certain ways and certain crystals don't always work together. And so you're getting these crystals that are all kind of jumbled in this giant energy. It's like, it's funny. I like going into shops like this because it kind of charges me up because there's so much energy in there. But it's funny, I get charged up more going into jewelry stores. Like where we get, like where I got my girl's ring from, her engagement ring, and we just bought the wedding band. Her wedding band. We just bought her wedding band. We just got to getting that made. I think it's gonna be done next week. But when I go in there, I am supercharged. All them diamonds and morganites, but mostly diamonds. And that place is just, now their stuff is expensive, but it's like it charges me. It's such good energy in there. It's like every time I come out of there, it's like, whoa. And because, you know, diamonds are amplifiers. And, you know, I've told married people this before, you know, again, with diamonds, it's going to amplify everything. So if you have an argument or something, you got to wash your diamonds. You can't just, you know, like, I don't even know, like how, well, I don't, that's extreme, but like, yeah, you have any kind of disagreements or bad energy, diamonds can expand that, because that's what they do. They expand the energy that's in front of them without any really conscious effort of how they'll do it sometimes. So that's where you got to know. And they're easy to cleanse, but you've got to cleanse them. That's why I always tease my doctor. I'm like, yeah, I know you wash your hands all the time, because she wears a diamond that's damn near, let me see. Where's the other one? Yeah, her diamond is damn near this big. She wears a diamond damn near that big. So I laugh at her. I'm like, I know you got to be cleansing that. And so, but simply wash it after the event happens. You just wash them, and there, it takes it away that quickly, that easily. But just, yeah, and that's the good thing is when you're doing something positive, diamonds are a great thing to help expand that. That's why, you know, I do get on entertainers for all dressing alike and having the same kind of outfits and same kind of jewelry. But on the other hand, when that positive stuff comes in, there's nothing better than having diamonds. I agree. Being on stage and all that energy that's coming and wearing diamonds with that, yes, I can see what that does. Unless you're in some kind of ritual with it, and which a lot of them put that out there. But if you're doing your talent out there, yeah, I can dig that. That I don't knock, because, you know, the more diamonds you put on something, they're expanders. So I don't knock that part. I just knock the part that's saying that's the only look. Because it's the new look. There's so many other ways to wear diamonds, and you just don't have to get diamond encrusted chains. That's the thing now. So whatever is your thing. I think I think rings give a stronger energy, just because they come from your hands and what your hands really are, and especially what your fingertips really are. You know, just check out Doctor Strange and you see what these really are. And I like amplifying them. So, well, I think I can go. I just need to stand up. Let me find a show, because I need to stand up. Thieves reveal winner of its. Yeah, that's stupid. Oh. Damn. Oh, they releasing mugshots of these motherfuckers. That is so funny. Rudy Giuliani mugshot. Some of Trump's allies mugshot. They keep putting his sister there. Yeah. Oh, this is, yeah, Maui fires. What else? Oh, we did this yesterday. Yeah. Well, Turkey and Albania. Wow, the world is burning. This gives me about 4 minutes, so. So, you know, the Temptations used to do a song that says, it's in the air, it's everywhere. It does appear like the world is burning, y'all. So I get up and stretch my legs, kick back and dig that the world is burning.
Across Europe, as firefighters in Greece and also in Tenerife are working pretty hard to try and tackle the blaze amidst the soaring heat. The thousands of people in the outer district of Greece's capital Athens were under evacuation orders, as the raging wildfires have resulted in at least about 20 deaths so far. Now, according to fire department officials, nearly about 60 fires have been reported in just the last 24 hours, and at least about 6 countries are sending in help via the European Union's civil protection mechanism. The temperature in the region was recorded at a blistering 41 degrees Celsius. Now, the fire risk level for several regions, including that of wider Athens area, has been listed as extreme for the second straight day. And firefighters are battling wildfires while the authorities have banned public access to mountains and forests in these regions until at least Wednesday morning. So as the flames raged, the sky over the city and across the region turned a bright red, hiding the sun as the choking smoke and swirling flecks of ash filled the air. And further, the residents in the city were advised to keep windows and doors closed due to the threat of smoke and ash from the fire, as ash fall was reported in various parts of the city. Now, the residents shared their ordeal and also expressed as to how the wildfires had engulfed their properties. And since everything around them has now been burned down, and it is really hard for them to recognize the places or the areas that they once called home.
It burned houses, burned shops, just burned. I don't know what happened to a monastery that is up there. There is another monastery here which is currently burning. I don't know the details, I do not know what to tell you. All I know is that because I'm a resident over here, we all came and doused water on the houses because now the fire was within breathing distance.
On the other hand, in Tenerife, more than 12,000 people were evacuated from their homes as the devastating blaze, which was started deliberately as per reports, burnt through nearly about 33,000 acres of pine forest and scrubland. Now, the fire began in the Arafo Mountains around the Mount Die volcano, which is Spain's highest peak, and expanded to a raging perimeter of at least about 84 kilometers as it ravaged the north of the island over the last 6 days. And soon after the wildfires started spreading, at least about 10 regions were put on high alert, and many of them were completely evacuated.
I was evicted around 4:30 a.m. from Friday to Saturday. It was a terrible night because I woke up to sirens banging on the door, and when I went out into the street, I found there was so much smoke that I couldn't see anything. Besides, we could see the glow of the fire. It was horrible.
Everything was burnt, it all went up in flames. Now we will be sleeping on benches like junkies. It took them 8 to 10 hours to send in the fire trucks.
Now, according to the officials, the fires came very close to some 10 municipalities, but no injuries or fatalities being reported. Acting on the situation, Spain's Prime Minister also visited the charred areas to assess the damage.
Wow. Wow. It was, let's see. Now, this is what's wild about this story. It's the same bullshit. It's the same bullshit, and this is a different region, I think.
Turkey and neighboring Albania, engulfing several regions of the Turkish northwestern province. The authorities also ordered evacuations in at least about 9 villages in the provinces. 8 planes and at least 26 helicopters and approximately 180 street sprinklers and construction equipment and about 1,100 personnel have been pressed into service to fight these fires. The Kanakali Strait was closed to north-south ship passage because of the fire which broke out earlier on Tuesday and rapidly spread due to the strong winds. The Turkish Disaster and Emergency Management Presidency said that at least about 4 people had been...
Look at this shit here.
The Kanakali Strait was closed to north-south ship passage because of the fire which broke out earlier on Tuesday and rapidly spread due to the strong winds. The Turkish Disaster and Emergency Management Presidency said that at least about 4 people had been affected by smoke and their treatment is ongoing. On the other hand, neighbouring Albania is also fighting a large wildfire near the western town of LAC. Local media showed videos of an army helicopter pouring water in the area, and the country's defence minister informed at least about 50 soldiers had been deployed. But stopping the fire still remains a huge challenge because of the difficult terrain. The Albanian police on Monday arrested the suspected arsonist who apparently started a fire in the woodland. Last month, Albania identified and charged at least about 14 people with starting wildfires, which is punishable with 15 years of prison time. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.
Move-in day at the state.
All right, sorry about that. With school and everything, this looks like some 4-H shit here. I don't know what this shit is. But so the world is burning. The world is burning. Oh, they said the Vikings are practicing through the heat. For real? Tell us about it. Tell us about the Vikings practicing through the heat. Tell us about what the Vikings are doing.
And the Cardinals for joint practices at TCO Performance Center.
Yeah, but today they had to battle a different opponent. We're talking about the Heat. Dawn Mitchell is out there in the heat. She joins us live at TCO. Hi, Dawn.
Hi, you know, the guys are used to this for the most part when it comes to training camp and the heat, but they're also being smart about it. Their main focus, though, fighting those battles, especially the young guys that are trying to make the team. This is the last preseason game coming up. But when it does come to the heat, they know hydration is key, and they have other ways to play it smart.
All nose breathing. I read a book and they say all nose breathing. It's better oxygen to your body.
As today's temperatures hit the high 90s, the Vikings got a smart practice in before the Cardinals come in tomorrow. But the heat is cranked in more ways than one. The final preseason game is Saturday. Position battles and cuts loom.
I felt pretty good. There's still some mistakes that I made out there that I got to clean up to have a better game and help put our defense in better situations. But I think overall, we played good team defense.
Enjoy your time and show out.
It's another opportunity. You always want to play for the one team you're playing for, but you also got to be realistic and know that you're playing for 32 teams. You're putting out tape for anybody who might need you in case you don't make the 53. I might not.
You know what? What he said is so true once you get into camp. Like this goes into talking about moments. When you're in the camp and you playing these preseason games, you are trying out for every team. Because every team, if they can look up film on you and show you perform in a given situation, that's positive for you. So like they said, White Man Can't Jump, Rosie Perez says, sometimes when you lose, you can still win. Because even though you may get cut by this team, somebody else looking at your skill set is saying, wow, this would fit. He fits in perfectly on what we do. So I love that he said that. That's golden. That's the most realistic thing I've heard in a minute.
For anybody who might need you in case you don't make the 53. You're playing for 32 teams. You're putting out tape for anybody who might need you in case you don't make the 53. I might not be as talented as other people, but if I know the game and know the ins and outs of what I need to do and how I need to do it, it definitely can help somebody like me who might not be as fast as somebody or as strong as somebody.
Us older guys have been telling the young guys, like, this is your last chance to really leave a lasting impression on your own staff, but also on the 31 other teams in the league, because the reality of this game is sad that not all 90 people on the roster now are going to be on the 53. So your impression that you put on field.
I thought it was 55 because they play 17 games. I thought they got the 2 extra players. He's saying 53. I thought it was 55. I think it's 55 because of the extra. Because that's when they go to 19 games, they said they're going to take 5 more players. But I thought 17 more games made 2 more spots because it wasn't 51. So it didn't go from 51 up to 53. It's been 53 forever. So I think this is wrong. I think it's 55, but maybe I'm wrong.
On film that day in the last game can help you land on another team.
Bynum's advice to the young guys is to play free on Saturday. And when it comes to the actual heat, he personally came into camp prepared.
I did my off season in the Philippines, so this is kind of nothing to compare to what I was able to train in this year. So it feels good. I'm from California, so it's not too bad. The humidity gets me, but it's fun because it gets your body moving faster.
And people forget up here, it's water everywhere. I mean, it's literally water everywhere. So the humidity, I wonder what the humidity is right now. Because that was a current story they were talking about today. But what is humidity right now? You have 8-mile-an-hour wind. We've got 49% humidity with the dew point at 73. So humidity is making it feel like it's 103. It's 96, but the humidity has it feel like it's 103. And with an 8-mile-an-hour wind. So. And these temperatures are holding pretty steady, but tomorrow's not going to be as warm. 90, but still warm and humid. So that's what we face up here. So I know what they're going through. Glad I ain't got to go through it. Well, I go through a little bit playing pickleball. I do. I go through it a little bit. Yeah, everybody.
Move-in day at the State Fair today.
Yeah, the State Fair is a big deal here. Yeah, it is a big day. They're going to get about 100,000 plus there every day. People are moving in, the 4-H people. That's I don't care. I love all the stories. Let's hear the stories of the Europe.
Gordon Severson shows us the extra steps being taken to keep them safe.
To beat the heat at the Minnesota State Fair, you have to get an early start.
It's not great, but we got to make do with what we got.
Some 4-H families were already lined up with their trucks and trailers at midnight to get their animals unloaded before the sun came up.
It's a little hot.
But not Johnny Zwaber. He and his siblings had to milk the cows first.
Our cows run on a schedule, so if we milk earlier than normal, they don't like that.
And here, the cows get what they want. Plenty of fans and lots of water.
We rinse them off throughout the day, keep them watered so that they're nice and hydrated.
And some even have cool-sounding names.
This is Snow.
Yes, Henry Longeville knows all the tricks. It's his 4th time here at the fair.
Once the fans get going in here, it gets pretty cool. You know, it's a lot cooler inside of the barn than outside in the sun.
At the chicken barn, they also know a few tricks to keep the birds happy.
Lots of water, always water.
And fans that can wrap around the cage.
Fiddles, why don't you sit under the fan? Maybe you would cool off a little more.
But Hannah Zwaber says the chickens
get the food off your...
don't always cooperate.
Yeah, you're fine, you're fine.
Sometimes they need a little encouragement.
Little buddy.
And she knows when her chickens are struggling in the heat.
He should be a little lighter throughout the comb. This is usually a lighter color than the comb and wattle, which kind of means that they're hot.
Another trick for chickens is to put a frozen water bottle in their cage. For rabbits, they use flooring tiles. Put them in the freezer for a few hours and then put them in the cage.
I also learned a lot about pigs. Apparently they don't sweat, so this morning when trucks and trailers were lined up, a lot of the people...
Damn, I'm glad I ain't got to worry about that. My cats don't even go outside, so shit, I ain't got to worry about that. I do. I was supposed to get my son's cat some cat food. I did forget that. So when he calls me, I might have to, if I don't go swimming, or I'll do it after I swim. I went and looked at my girl the way she looking. I don't know if we're going swimming or not, because she down there asleep. She is down there asleep, but she said she didn't sleep well last night, so I'm not surprised. Uber Lyft driver, deal approved. Oh, they did. Huh, they approved because the Uber was about to leave up out of here. So, let's check this out. Yeah, they was about to leave up out this state. But they made a deal, I guess. Apparently they made a deal.
Ongoing rideshare situation in Minneapolis. Mayor Jacob Fry using his veto power to stop an ordinance that would have seen Uber and Lyft drivers get some raises.
In place of that ordinance, Mayor Fry says he has struck a deal with Uber to ensure they pay drivers more. Our Babs Santos joins us live now from Minneapolis with details on that deal struck. Babs, tell us about it.
Well, drivers have now been lobbying for pay raises.
Oh, I think they listened to me because last time Babs didn't have a T-shirt on. But get down, Babs. Let's go.
For more than a year, and today some that we spoke with were disappointed with this week's developments.
On Tuesday, Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry vetoed an ordinance passed by the Minneapolis City Council last week that would have given rideshare drivers in the city a raise up to $1.40 per mile. Fry says drivers deserve a livable wage, but other workplace protections in the ordinance need more review in the coming weeks.
We want to get this right. We want to make sure that when we have something that's set up, it's thoughtful, it's comprehensive, it gets input from a variety of different stakeholders, and then we can pass something.
In the meantime, effective immediately, Fry is announcing a commitment from Uber to pay all drivers the equivalent of Minneapolis's $15 minimum wage, along with a minimum of $5 for any trip in the city.
He likes a deal. He wants a deal that makes him seem as if he's a progressive champion of sorts, and that does not often acknowledge that those deals often come at the expense of working class people.
Minneapolis City Council member Robin Wansley, the lead author of the now dead rideshare ordinance.
He's siding with out-of-state corporations over his own residents, working class residents, who've been very clear about what they need.
On Tuesday, those Uber drivers agreed that this week's developments fall short of what they'd hoped for.
The minimum pay is not enough. I mean, I like it, but then again, it's going to hurt the other people too. The rides are going to be more expensive.
And it's also unclear how many drivers in Minneapolis were actually making less than minimum wage before Tuesday. Uber reports between April and August, its median driver earnings during a ride were more than $32 per hour, excluding tips, while Lyft says in the last quarter, theirs was $37, including tips.
If this rideshare ordinance had gone through, Lyft had previously threatened to pull out of the city of Minneapolis, but now the company says we're committed to continue collaborating.
Well, you know what we need? We need Addison Lee up here. They give us Addison Lee. That's Europe's or Britain's Uber and Lyft is Addison Lee. Bring Addison Lee up in here, and it'd be a better deal for all of us. Better deal for all of us. Well, I think I'm talked out. I'm gonna sit back and relax because I need to get up, and go do something. But thank you for those that you commented, and thank you for those who ever watch. I appreciate it. You know, I don't have to come on here begging. It's funny, listen to a very, very brilliant brother. This is what the brother said. He was saying all great his ideas was, but he doesn't know anybody he could go to that has $5 million to invest in his idea. And I kind of thought about that myself. I know people that have that much that could invest in something, but what that brother would want to invest in, to me, it would be a waste. To me, it would be a waste. It's like so many other ways and so many other things that you can make $5 million from go a lot longer than what this brother was proposing. So I guess my thing is I have people I can go to if it's something like that where I thought we all could expand it. But from what I've seen that brother have, it just makes me wonder, you know, what really could you do with that much? You done capped a number on your idea, but what could you really do with that idea? Like, could you put it down right now and say how much I would make back on what I made? Now, this is my son probably saying, where's the cat food? Hold on. So I'm gonna have to go see my son. I see, but I'm gonna see if I don't want to make two trips because if we still going swimming, he lives that way. But he said he calls me when they're totally out of food. It's like he couldn't have called me. Well, I had planned to go this morning, so I admit that was the plan. I kind of forgot. I should have. Well, I was out earlier, so that's what I might go do. I want to fuck around, so I might just drive over there and buy the cat food. It'll take me about a little less than an hour to do all that because he only lives about 15 minutes away. So, well, this is good as ever to get off. And Johnny, what's happening? Oh, Walada, thank you for joining me. Woo, I forgot where I was at. Really see.
Got to have vision.
Terry Funk. Johnny Oggs, what's happening? I don't know who Terry Funk is. And I know you got to have to watch me.
Got to have vision.
So yeah, I'm gonna have to make way. I'm gonna have to make way and go do something and get out. So give me
Move-in
something.
day at the state fair today.
Give me something to do. So this has been the Big Eagle Hour. Sorry I didn't say who I was. I imagine the people that did tune in and do tune in eventually will know that this is Big Pontiac from the Chocolate Mountain Show. But when I do it in the daytime, it's the Big Eagle Hour because I do live on Big Eagles Hill, near Big Eagles Lake, in the land of the Lakotas. So, well, I'm so thankful to be here. And I hope wherever you live and where you are, you know, the land is sacred and you can tap into the land like I've tapped into the land here. So it looks like I have to go out into the hot. And, but it's give me something to do. Definitely will give me something to do. So, my cats are hungry. Gonna have to take care of them. So this has been the Chocolate Mountain Show. Or no, this has been the Big Eagle Hour.